Today we're going to learn about stative verbs in English. This is an important grammar topic at the B1 level, because it helps you understand the difference between actions and states. Many students already know verbs like run, eat, or speak, which describe actions. However, some verbs describe a state of being, a feeling, a thought, or a condition rather than a physical action. These are called stative verbs. A stative verb describes a situation that is usually stable or unchanged for a period of time. These verbs talk about things such as emotions, opinions, possession, or mental states. For example, when we say I love chocolate, we are not describing an action that is happening right now. Instead, we are describing a feeling or state. Because of this, stative verbs are usually not used in continuous tenses, such as the present continuous. For example, we say, I love coffee and not I'm loving coffee. Another example, I have a car, or I own a house by the lake, not I'm having a car, or I'm owning a house. Similarly, we say, he seems very shy instead of his seeming very shy, and I know him very well instead of I'm knowing him very well. These examples show that stative verbs are normally used in simple tenses, such as the present simple or past simple. Stative verbs usually fall into four main groups. The first group is emotion verbs, which describe feelings. These include verbs such as love, hate, want, and need. For example, I love chocolate, she hates loud music, we want a new house, they need help with their homework. These verbs describe emotions or desires. The second group is possession verbs, which describe ownership or belonging. Examples include have, own, want, and belong. For example, I own a house by the lake, she has 2 bicycles, this book belongs to me, they want a bigger apartment. These verbs describe possession rather than an action. The third group is sense verbs, which describe what we perceive through our senses. These include see, hear, smell, and seem. For example, I hear everything you are saying, she sees the mountains from her window, the soup smells great, he seems very tired today. Again, these verbs describe perception or appearance rather than actions. The fourth group is thought verbs, which describe mental processes. Examples include know, believe, remember, and understand. For example, I know where he lives, she believes the story, we remember that place, they understand the problem. These verbs describe thinking or knowledge. However, some verbs can be both stative verbs and action verbs, depending on their meaning. In these cases, the meaning changes when we use them in the continuous form. For example, I have a car describes possession, so it is a stative verb. But I'm having a bath describes an activity, so it becomes an action verb meaning taking a bath. Another example is the verb think. If we say I think you are cool, we mean in my opinion, which is a stative meaning. But if we say I'm thinking about buying a motorbike, the verb describes an active mental process of considering something. Stative verbs are also very important when we express opinions. In everyday English, we often use expressions such as I think, I believe, I feel, I suppose, I consider, I'm sure, in my opinion, from my point of view. For example, I think this film is amazing, I strongly believe that education is important, from my point of view, the city is too noisy, I feel that this solution is the best one. These expressions help us communicate our ideas clearly. We can also use stative verbs when asking for someone's opinion. For example, what do you think of this idea? What are your thoughts on the project? How do you feel about this plan? What's your opinion on online learning? These questions encourage people to share their thoughts. When someone gives an opinion, we often respond by agreeing or disagreeing. If we agree, we might say, so do I, me too, definitely, I agree, I couldn't agree more. For example, in my opinion summer is more fun than winter. Me too. I love going to the beach and attending festivals. If we disagree, we can respond politely. Informally, we might say, I disagree, I don't agree, yeah, but. For example, yeah, but winter is also fun. You can go skiing and drink hot chocolate. In more formal situations, we might say, I'm not sure I agree with you. I'm sorry, but I don't agree. I'm afraid I disagree. To summarize, stative verbs describe states, feelings, possession, perception, or thoughts rather than actions. Because of this, they are normally used in simple tenses and not continuous tenses. Understanding stative verbs helps you express opinions, describe feelings, and communicate ideas clearly in English.